What's up? What's up? What are you doing? I'm actually using analytics during a match. I didn't know you can do that? Yeah, it's like really easy. I bet even you can do it. All right, I'm gonna go try it. I'll see you later. Hey, good luck. So as I promised in the last video, we are now up to a match that should be at least mildly competitive with my Belarusian side, Bate Borisov, and we are going to play this match, and I'm going to show you how to use the analysis to make your decisions inside of the game itself. If you want to see me do this all the time, I stream on Twitch, of course, and you can ask me questions on Instagram and Twitter. That's all down in the description, but you are a YouTube fan, so you know that. So what we're going to be looking for today is for me to actually express with words the things I'm looking at when I'm playing a match, how to interpret them and how to apply them to your tactics. Obviously, the base example that I am giving you here is an example of what to do when you are a better team. I'm using my flying wolf tactic. It's hyper aggressive 4-2-2 with 2 strikers and 2 attacking wingers. And the adjustments you're going to be making are obviously going to be different types of adjustments that I'm going to hope to hit on. If you're a worse team, if you're playing a team that is very similar to you in stature, you will be looking to interpret the same information. So obviously off the top, this is where you get an idea, your first official confirmation of what formation the opposing team is going to be playing. You can make adjustments based off of what you see there in terms of your tactics. You can't change obviously who's on the field, but you can actually completely change your tactic. So it's not a bad idea to have your 3 tactics, and maybe if you think they're going to play more attacking, you build a tactic to defend that. But if they don't come out that way, you can revert back to one of your more normal tactics. It becomes a problem if you had to pick different players to make that other tactic work, which is why you might want to pick the same players, just in case. Give our team talk, do a little ask assistant. If you've got a good assistant coach, they'll give you decent tactical advice on what to do with opposition instructions. Video coming on opposition instructions soon. And now it's time to kick off. Wait, no! Rewind the tape, Reese. Now you see on this rewound tape, it says Ferris updates over here, or like Ferris feedback. Ferris is my assistant coach. Click on that. It'll give you an idea about the mentality of your players. Onward and upward. I typically play on extended highlights. Comprehensive highlights is going to give me a lot of information that is not important, right? But key highlights just gives me over 50% goals, and so you don't see a lot of the plays that can give you valuable information on how your tactic is doing and how everything is set up. So we're 10 minutes in. If you don't see the body language, by the way, change the text size in preferences, and then the body language will pop up in this situation. 100% of the time, you should have the body language up just so you know how your team is reacting to situations. You should have the stats up. You should have the opposing tactic up. And that's really everything that I think you should absolutely have to have. But now we're 12 minutes in, and we're going to take a pause and take a look at the analysis. This is going to tell us where on this heat map our players are spending their most time. So if you're blowing a team out, which we're clearly much more talented team than they are, you're going to see your team way up the field. You're going to see the other team way down the field. Valuable things that I can take away from this right now, or if I am worried about their strikers, I'm not. If I was, I would only want to mark 6 because 31 is clearly dropping in to try and get himself in the ball more, where 6 is trying to put the pressure on my back line. So instead of just having to guess or try and read off of the highlights you're seeing, you can actually see positionally where those people are lining up more often than not. Let's continue. We have no extended highlights in the first 18 minutes despite our massive statistical possessional dominance. Oh, here we go. Chavatini's my former player, by the way. That's a goal! Oh, it's not. Okay. What can we learn from what we just saw? Well, they're clearly willing to give me the alley, right? But once we get into this position, these crosses are going to be incredibly difficult. The box is crowded, and it's going to be hard to pick someone out with a good goal-scoring chance. Now, Victor Leonardo is an excellent passer, and Londoño is my left back, so he made an incredible run to get into that space. Normally, you're not going to have someone like Leonardo or Leandro. Leandro to make plays like this, or you need to create those late runs into the box that drag. You have Daniel drag the back line down, and then the late run into the box catches all of them in a deep position, and they don't have the midfielders to cope with it. So when I'm really managing a match, this is what is going through your mind and saying, well, if we're dragging that back line down, can we get a late run in there? Can we afford to get a late run in there? Do we have a player that can make the late run? Or do we perhaps need to turn on whipped crosses in order to just smack the ball into the box as hard as possible without much direction to try and make it increasingly hard to deal with for a very organized defense? Which this is, by the way, as the heat map continues to heat up and take shape throughout the game. The colors become brighter where you are in possession of the ball more. So it is clear that they are forcing us out of the middle and kind of funneling us onto the left, which is not necessarily a huge problem for me. And we are creating a lot of runs. What we might want to do is see if we can get Leandro starting up the field more. And I know that they obviously have this one guy here trying to mark Leandro. I just don't think he'll be able to mark Leandro. So we'll stagger Leandro off to one side and then see if Clemmer can run off Victor Leandro in that way. That's our new plan, because we're not creating a lot right now. Even though we've got the possession and the shots, we're on extended highlights, and really nothing has happened. I mean, we're up against it a little bit in terms of what we should be doing. I have multiple videos on set pieces. We won't be talking about them here. We've got the long throw hacks, and ladies and gentlemen, the way I look at set pieces is the better you do them, the more opportunities you are creating. It's just free opportunity creation outside of the tactical humdrum of a game, the analysis, the figuring out where players are supposed to go, and that and this. It's just free chances. There's no reason not to go through. At least set them up right at the beginning of the season, and then you can save them and load them up onto every new tactic. We've got to make sure we don't lose focus. We've already had a nervous player out there, and we can see in our stats that we are in control of the game. 62% possession. Our pass completion is high. We've won 92% of our tackles, 11 out of 12. We've only committed 3 fouls. They've committed 9. We have all of the corners, but the chances, and you will notice if you pull up your match stats from this panels area up here, which is where you can find so many things that I don't even use that can provide you even more information in order to win matches. And you have your different team sections. If you're tracking latest scores, you can pull those up. You can pull up something called a radar, which is I don't really know. You've tons of useful stuff, but I don't like to clutter the screen too much, so I stick to this. You can customize your match stats. You can, how many times do we hit the woodwork? How many free kicks have we won? How many long shots are we taking? That's actually a really useful one. I'll leave that on. How many times have we been offside? How many times have we completed passes in the offensive instead of the defensive half of the field? How many miles have we run? How many saves have been parried? How many shots have been blocked? Everything that you could possibly want to know is under that customization. And so we've got 17 shots, only 2 long shots. So we're working it in. We are just not converting our opportunities into chances is the way I would word it. And so the way they've played, they've really done what they could hope to do. We've got a pretty cheesy goal from a long throw for Semenyak, and that's it. And you thinking, well, what is something that we can do to try and break them down even more? I mean, they are dedicated entirely to playing defense, so it is a bit difficult. And this is another scramble play off a set piece that we will celebrate anyways, like it's the end of our days. Sometimes you are really just dependent on the talent of your players. There's no way you can tell any of these people to do these things, and we've cashed in our second goal. They've got to feel hard done by a 2-0 scoreline, even though we're obviously the better team. Have to feel hard done by it, but I'd love to see the tactics that we've messed with affect this. So Leandro's pinned down that defensive midfielder. That's giving some room for Londonio to kind of leap forward. You see, even though they're playing with 2 strikers, there's only this one guy up here, so that heat map it's just incredibly accurate, because this guy is the only guy applying that pressure on the back line. And the heat map's actually adjusted now. I don't know if they put 31 up top for a little while and they move the 2 guys back and forth, then it'll look like that. So it's a combination of your eyes and the heat map and the stats, what you're seeing, what you know about your players that maybe you can use to try and exploit what the other team is doing. Like the fact that Londonio is very good at getting forward, so if we're going to be able to pin their back line deep, Londonio can pick the ball up and be the primary creator for the team. Come on, rip it. There you go. Play him. Now we've got their defense scrambling a little bit. It's like a man on a man. This should be a real chance and probably should have been a goal. This is the first clear-cut chance of the match, right? I believe so. See, there's Leandro sitting at the top of the box. Instead, he would have run a little deeper if he was at that lower position, but now that is a nightmare. Where I've put that guy as I've put Leandro as a nightmare for a central defensive mid, because if he decides not to go with him, Leandro's open to do something like that and attack the back line. If he decides to go with him, then Maldonado is actually unchecked all the way to the back line. Like they can't check and keep my midfielders away from play creating positions, and that's just classy. We really had to fight for this one. I knew it. This is a team that's capable of making the Europa League group stage, and it's not even over yet. That's my former goalkeeper. Good save, man. He's the number 3 for Ghana. Glad we could help his career. That's what this team does well. They just raid all of the people that I developed, turn into Belarusians, and then let go. They sign them all and build their team around it. Oh, this is going in. They're always offside. I wish there was a way to tell them not to be. So I'm seeing something like this is we are actually getting a lot of our highlights on extended highlights from set pieces. So I'm going to go in and turn on play for set pieces. And you think, why would you want to do that? Clearly, you're a much more talented team, because what is happening during a set piece that's not happening from the run of play? Their defense isn't put together. So even if we're not scoring directly from those set pieces, the scramble play after the set piece provides our talent an opportunity to expose them, that just from the run of play trying to walk them down when they have 10 guys in the goal mouth does not provide us. Oh yeah, see, set piece again. Scramble play off a set piece again. Cause and effect. Honestly, this entire game is cause and effect. And don't be afraid, as I was for years playing this game, to try something you've never tried before. And sometimes you're going to fail. And you've got to get comfortable trying things. Sometimes you're just going to mess up and it's going to end up coming out horribly. And the year after winning the Champions League in this save, went on the road to Real Madrid and lost 5-0 because I was trying something. I was trying a new formation. It did not work. But you learn from each of those instances. Do not be afraid to try those things, because if it wasn't for me trying those things, that is just freaking beautiful, man. What's it come off of? Comes off a turnover. There are no highlights for us where we were successfully able to break them down. So we needed to get stuck in, play high pressure, and play for set pieces so we could create opportunities where we didn't have to walk them down. We could show the quality passing our way through. But on the other side, I tried something. In the Champions League final against PSG, if you haven't seen the video, it is on this channel, of the entire match. I tried a formation I'd literally never played before in the Champions League final for the first time, because I thought it matched up perfectly with what PSG was trying to do, and they were much better than us. But we got it all the way to penalties. We kept them out. So that's the good and the bad of trying things. And the more times you try things in these situations, or maybe say, oh, we're up 2-0, let me see how the team plays without fullbacks. Oh, we're up 3-0, let's see what play for set pieces looks like on this team, or let's see what a high press looks like on this team. How do we play against this formation? The more times you do that, the more you're able to speak the language of Football Manager, and the more comfortable you get in making those decisions, and the more you can say, in this moment, this is what we need to do, and in this moment, this is what we need to do. Because as Miles said, the lovely Miles, everything in Football Manager is connected. And when Miles said that, it was right. And so the more you get a feel for the repercussions of your decisions, the more often you are going to be right. And you are never going to be right 100% of the time with any of these types of reactions. But using things like this heat map and the analysis, and using things like figuring out, well, what's the action zone? Where are you ending up in possession of the ball? The fairest feedback is still available during the match. You get your pre-match feedback over here, your performance, your observations, like, oh, he's twisted some things, some tactics, used to playing at a lower tempo. Like, Clemmer is not familiar with the tactic, and it's showing. You can even see where the shots have gone. I honestly don't know how this is like useful information for you, but you can see it. Your shot accuracy. I mean, what are you going to tell him to shoot higher or lower? I don't think you can do that yet. And this is an analysis portion that I also don't use during matches. I've used it between matches before, where you have the opportunity to check, like, over the course of 90 minutes, So you say passes, you pick the areas of the field that you want to be looking at. And for me, that's just going to be the entire field in every direction. And passes completed by Nelsinho Maldonado. This is every pass Nelsinho Maldonado is completed. The detail level, I feel like it almost doesn't get enough love, because how are you going to use most of this stuff? I obviously won 4-0, and I've been able and fortunate enough to win a lot of things in Football Manager and have a lot of fun with you guys on Twitch without using a lot of this stuff. But if you want to be even better than me, which you absolutely can be, I do a lot of research and stuff, you know, but how good am I actually? Your ability to apply that information can be much, much better than me if you start using stuff like that and then tailoring your instructions. That's why there's so many different player instructions. You can take advantage of that stuff. Zealand, why didn't you talk about shouts? Because I already made a video about it. Thank you though. Check it out. It's nice. That is it for today. I'm very pleased with your performance, team, with a 4-0 win in the Cup quarter final. Bit harsh on them, honestly. We took control in the second half, but they played well. I look forward to catching you on another video. And I've just filmed 2 videos in the same day because I accidentally filmed one and then filmed this one. So I'm gonna go take a nap.